Welcome everyone to the C.I.T. ruins. Once the prestigious Commonwealth Institute of Technology, it is now a husk of its former self and is picked through by scavengers, some synths and super mutants. Now, deep below, of course, is the Institute itself, but you don't get to that till way later on. So let's see what useful items you can find when you venture here. First things first, it's this little trailer. Get some first aid. There might be some junk in the desks before going behind here and get yourself an explosive box. If you're here because Father's on the roof and you don't know how to get up to him, you aren't alone. I too had a bit of problems doing that. Let's head on in to the Rotunda. Once inside, you will be greeted by a battle between some synths and super mutants. Might have been the first time you encountered synths. Going over to the left here, and just buried in the dirt is a mini nuke. It always spawns here, and you can farm it if you visit this location often enough after a couple of in-game days. Going to the left here, you can pick up some stuff that's just lying around this lovely, very high ceiling lobby. Heading on round, you can get a wee movie reference over here to Good Will Hunting, the janitor, which is sitting with some chalk, drawing some stuff on the blackboard here. Now, if we move on into this little classroom, you can pick yourself up a bottle cap mine and some other useful crafting material lying around. It seems that this person was extremely early for class, given when the bombs fell. And, well, no one else was attending by the looks of it. But there was a teacher upstairs in one of the other classrooms, which we will see very soon. This is an alternative entrance, as there is one next to the classroom as well. Now, if you want to get to the roof to see Father, you will have to go all the way over here. Follow this staircase up to the top, and there's a door. You can't miss it. And that's how you get up to speak to Father. Now, let's go up the first floor ourselves here. This is where the super mutants are. Normally, they defeat the synths, so you'll have to deal with the super mutants. But if you aren't friendly with the Institute, you'll have to deal with the synths either way. There's a duffel bag and a mattress. Obviously, over the years, some scavengers have set up camp here. But this place is actually an insertion point for Institute coursers, even though we never see that being the case. It's alluded to, it's mentioned in Virgil's quest that, you know, he mentions that you got to come here to use the signal, but that's pretty much all she wrote for that one. It would have been cool if every so often an Institute courser, like midnight or something, would have just appeared. Maybe we patrol routes or something. That would have been neat. We've got a porta diner over here. Will we be lucky in this episode? No. Going over, there's some sugar bombs, yum yum deviled eggs, and other things that they were cooking away here in this little cafe. Communism is coming. Obviously a big fear here that plastered all over the place. A Luxo brew coffee cup and a globe. Very nice crafting items. Loads of lockers full of stuff. A super mutant that actually got out of my way this time. Brilliant. These ones seem to be a little less. So you can see the Art Deco, really creepy looking metal statues that are everywhere. We'll probably see more of that in coming Fallouts. Got a steamer trunk full of goodies. This is what you're fighting up to. Desk and an advanced safe at the back here. Now, let's head on out here and go out the back entrance. Let's go. I will, of course, be showing you what happens to this place once you finish the Institute off. Spoilers coming soon. So this is the front, or technically the back of the C.I.T. ruins that you could enter from. Let's see what unmarked locations are lying around the exterior here. So let's fly about right through here. And then you've got the Kendall Raider Apartments. There's a couple of buildings. It's unmarked. There's about a dozen raiders that have decided to make themselves, make their home here. Well, it's a wonder why they didn't decide to use the C.I.T. ruins. There's also this little campsite. A few curious pieces of equipment. It's also got a few mines around it, so be careful. I would imagine some eccentric person was camping out here. The raiders, well, they might have convinced that person to move on. Maybe an old school American patriot with a wee flag nearby. And if we float back round to the front, the one thing I will mention is that despite the scaffolding going up to multiple levels of an interior building, there's no doors, there's no treasure, no trunks, no safe. So don't waste too much time going around the exterior of this building unless you have a jetpack, which you could jump up to here. And Father will be found standing right there, right over here. And the door I mentioned is right there. And the stairs that you walk up go straight to that door. And that is how you visit Father later on in the game. Now, let's go over to the left wing here. You can walk in underneath. That will give you access, well, one of the access points. A few dumpsters that you could loot. And then moving over, we got the final entrance over here. The janitor will be found just the other side of this door. The other thing of note is maybe the wee Kowalski shelters over here. And you've got the wee alien with his little lunchbox. Moving on over, there's some pre-war money in this little old cafe that would have served the C.I.T. ruins. Or, well, C.I.T, I suppose, before it got ruined. And then flying around here, there's a couple of other unnotable... Not a lot of notable buildings around. Now, let me show you what happens if you decide to finish off the Institute. Also, this is one of the entry points, if you do the Brotherhood of Steel ending, where Liberty Prime will fire a laser beam and throw a mini nuke, and he'll drill his way down into the Institute. It's a fair bit below the ground, but Liberty Prime has the firepower to do it. Alright, so this is one of the endings where you blow up the Institute. You can see it over in the distance, and boom! No longer exists. Now let me show you the site afterwards. We're back at the USS Riptide, and if you had followed this bridge across here, it would take you to the C.I.T. ruins. Well, after you blow it up, it turns into a crater, and if you get close enough, it mimics the glowing sea with lightning and a little green cloud. Now, for a lot of you, it's a large body of water, and you might think, well, what's underneath? Thankfully, we have the technology to show you. The rotunda still exists, or well, the dome of it, all the way down at the bottom here, as you can see. That's all that's left. Now, in terms of items, there's no safes, no trunks, no goodies after you blow it up. It would have been awesome if right at the bottom here there was, I don't know, some sort of treasure with a synth maybe, you know, holding on to it. That would have been really neat. But in this case, it just ends up being a very deep water-filled crater that it actually takes out a lot of the buildings around it. So right up to the Raider apartments over there. The camp survives, that little camp we looked at. But sadly, over here, all the buildings, the wee diner that you seen earlier on, it's all gone. The Kowalski shelters. So they all went boom. And the Cambridge Polymer Labs now has beachfront property. Or, well, riverfront property. It should be noted, once you blow it up, it actually no longer becomes a map icon at all. It's beside the wreck of the USS Riptide, the Cambridge Polymer Labs, and south of the campus law offices or the Kendall Hospital. A lot of you will know the Cambridge Police Station just up the way, and it's one just sits right there, C.I.T. ruins. Not that there's much left now. And that is everything. The one last bit of trivia that I will say, there was a couple of holotapes that were found in the game files for the C.I.T. building, and that's pretty much it. They were cut from the game, and they mentioned a building that was never included in the game either, so either it was from a much earlier part of the game, or they just decided to leave the ruins as is, just ruins. Thank you for watching, see you all in the next one.